This is Snake. You're listening to the Kojima Productions Report with Ryan with Ryan Payton. So listen up.
All right, this is the Kojima Productions Report with a very special edition. Quinton Flynn is joining me on the program. It's the voice of Raiden.
That's right. And this is Ryan.
Raiden?
Well, I'm Raiden, you're Ryan.
I'm Ryan.
Exactly.
You're Raiden.
I could be.
You could be.
But you definitely are.
I'm definitely Ryan Payton. I think I'm the host. I definitely know that you are playing Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 4.
That's right.
And you also performed Raiden, the lead character of Metal Gear Solid 2, way back in the day.
Back in the day.
Kind of going down memory lane here with Chris in the studio, just talking about how it was recording that game back almost 7 years ago.
Chris Zimmerman, the director.
Chris Zimmerman, yes.
For those of you who can't see us right now.
Exactly.
I am not a man.
No, she is, certainly is not. She's a natural woman.
So we're just kind of chatting about your performance as Raiden, as the surprise lead character of Metal Gear Solid 2. You know, we came off, well, I wasn't at the studio at the time, but huge success with the original Metal Gear Solid. And Hideo Kojima had a big surprise for players that picked up the sequel, and that is the lead character is not Solid Snake, but in fact, this new character, Raiden, who is kind of like the antithesis of Solid Snake. He's very much, he doesn't have any real combat experience. He likes to show his emotions. He has a girlfriend he's in love with, Rose, and very different character to play. Can you talk about how you approached that character, Quinton?
Well, I approached him from a very masculine angle, as most of you remember.
Exactly. Very much a tough guy.
Yeah, I worked out a lot. I knew he was young and heroic, and I just tried to approach it with, kind of a cool energy and vitality. But the youth was really important to the character. That was the direction I was given from Chris, and also the direction that she was given, I'm guessing, from producers. So we tried to strike a balance and give Raiden that.
Kind of like that sense of innocence, but still trying to be in control.
Well, yeah, because, he really was confused. He didn't know up from down where he ended and other people began.
Right.
His whole concept of life or this life around him was completely foreign, as if he'd been awakened from a dream or awakened into a dream.
Yeah, and that dream you could almost argue is this VR training that you would keep referring to in the game, is that I've done this in VR, so I know how to approach this situation. And
yeah.
And Snake or whoever would always remind you that this is different. This is real life this time. So, as we move forward with this character, he's back again in the new game we're recording here at Sound Deluxe. It's Metal Gear Solid 4, and Raiden he's gone through some changes.
Yeah, he's gone through some hormonal changes, apparently. And he's been out there for a while. He's not your mother's Raiden, as they say.
Right.
Before, you're right. Yeah, you had that more youthful energy. And now he's been to hell and back. And there's nothing that's going to snop him? Yeah, there's nothing that's going to snop him. And includes Vamp.
Yes, exactly. So you got to see the trailer the first time we had English voices in the trailers, the new one from E3.
Oh, it's great, yeah.
Well, yeah, what'd you think? I mean, that was the first time you got to see your new take on Raiden in motion.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think everybody's going to be happy, and I don't think there's going to be the conflict or the pro-con, as far as the character performance goes. I really think people are going to dig it.
Yeah, that actually leads into a question that we got from a listener named Twilight Samurai from the United States.
Twilight Samurai.
Yes, of course. And he actually starts off his question kind of referencing you, saying that actually he believes that you, as well as Gray Fox, another character in the game, has kind of received official Boba Fett status, as he put it, as kind of like this iconic character that is very cool, and that it's hard to find people that don't like these kind of characters. But he wants to go back to this talk of MGS2, and how did you feel about the character of Raiden, and did you like him, or did you also have a little bit of a negative reaction, as many fans did, to kind of like his more feminine side? They weren't expecting this kind of weak-willed. Weak-willed is not a great way to describe.
Not at all.
Raiden.
It's a terrible way.
Yeah, it's a terrible way. But yeah, this is kind of a very feminine lead character.
Or maybe vulnerable, but I
Yeah.
guess by appearances, perhaps, yeah? Because I know there was nothing feminine about my performance. Yeah, my perception is completely different than anybody who experienced the game. Because for me, it was working from the inside out, and for everyone else, it's seeing it from the outside in and playing it that way. It was based on what they saw. And when we, of course, as you know, Ryan, the way we work in the studio here with Chris and Keiko and Justin and others, is we are working from a script, working from concept, we're working from the written word and trying to develop a character and make this character as believable and present as possible for the situations in which he's in. And anything that happens beyond that visually is beyond, not only beyond our control, but kind of after the fact.
Right. That's true. And in looking back, I was thinking about this, that we're going to be recording this podcast this morning, and as I was driving to the studio, I was thinking about my early experiences playing Metal Gear Solid 2, and I'm thinking back to the negative reactions that we had to Raiden, and I was almost a part of that voice. It's like, who is this guy? This isn't like Solid Snake. And
right, sure.
And looking and thinking back, it really wasn't a negative reaction towards Quinton Flynn, because actually there was negativity on all sides. There was for the American Raiden, also for the Japanese Raiden. So it really is this kind. I think it also, like you said, it has to do with the visual aspect of the way that the player approaches it and sees this kind of. At one point, he's actually completely naked in the game.
Yes, running around.
Yeah.
And I guess it could. It's comical.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't want this character to begin with, then it's probably just annoying.
Exactly. So that's a tough thing for a voice actor to approach. Is that you played the character as you were directed and as Mr. Kojima wanted you to do. And I think you nailed the part. It's just after the fact when the whole game comes together and it's not what people are expecting.
Well, and you just keyed into something that I really hadn't thought of, and that is, you and the rest of the gamers had this experience with Metal Gear, the first game, Metal Gear Solid.
Right.
So you have expectations about the second one, and when this new character is introduced and then, if you want to look at it this way, thrust upon you, it's a change, and we don't like change.
Right, exactly.
It's almost like giving James Bond a sidekick,
Yeah.
We don't know that we want him. Well, not only are you going to have him, but you're going to have to play him.
Yeah, for the entire 20 hours of the game. So, thinking back to that now, and maybe I've just grown up in a way, but I think it was actually a very bold move by Mr. Kojima, and I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, absolutely. I am too.
Yeah, exactly. They gave you a lot of work, I'm sure. Lots of recording for that one.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did a lot. It was reams of paper, like phone books. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. As I've mentioned to others before, I got to work with a lot of terrific actors and actresses, and those are some of the best times. And in fact, some of the scene work we did that may or may not have been as exciting to viewers and players were great fun for me. Acting as Raiden opposite Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Those scenes, I remember having many different wonderful moments as we were directed by Chris and working together. And there were, just moments of shared reality, the kind of experience one has as an actor that's very fulfilling.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So moving on to a question from a guy named Henry Spencer and this question came in from a fan site. That's the unofficial Metal Gear fan site. And he wants to know if you like where Mr. Kojima and our team has taken the Raiden character in MGS4. Do you like his personality and his look? And do you prefer the new Raiden, or do you prefer the more vulnerable MGS2 Raiden?
I think I'm happy with the direction in which they've taken him. I like the fact that they've aged him up a bit in terms of voice texture and given him some more grit, and obviously a huge facility for doing any and all things. I think it's exciting because it gives you more places to go.